Okay. Hi, Christine. How are you?
I'm doing good, and you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I appreciate it. Why don't you just sort of tell us your story? I'm looking at your bio. It sounds very interesting. You came from Bali originally?
Well, Bali is a village in Cameroon, in the northwest region of Cameroon. It's not the Bali in
Oh, it's
Indonesia.
not the Indonesian Bali.
Yes,
Oh, okay. All right.
yes.
That must be confusing.
It
Yeah.
is, it is.
Okay. Well, tell us your backstory.
Well, yes, I originally come from Bali, southern Cameroon, and I went to school there. Then I traveled to Germany, where I spent a few years doing some college courses. Then in 2009, I relocated to the US. I've been in Pennsylvania since 2009. My first stop was in Pittsburg. Then I relocated to Harrisburg and now to Camp Hill, PA. So I moved to Harrisburg because of a state job. I worked with the state of Pennsylvania for about 5 years. Then 2 years ago, I moved full time into a business. We operate a center for adults with intellectual disabilities. We service those individuals in various counties around the area here. And last year, I started writing a book to try to capture my journey and try to help others that are in that point of their lives where they're asking questions about their purpose, they're feeling like they're unfulfilled. So it was really the desire to help others that prompted me to start this journey of writing a book. And the book was finally published this November.
Oh, great. Tell me a little bit about your business. You said you work with adults with intellectual disabilities?
Yes, sir. So we have a center. It's called Community Participation Support. It's like a day program where these individuals that have intellectual disabilities, and some of them have a diagnosis of autism. So they attend the program during the day. So when they come, we help them to integrate their communities. We help them to build social relationships. We help them to gain pre-vocational skills, like we would assist them and support them to volunteer in the various nonprofits in the area, businesses in the area. We help them or support them to develop other skills that will aid them in gaining their independence and living everyday lives just like you and I.
Okay, can you give me an example of what an intellectual disability is? Because I've never heard that term before.
Oh, okay. So someone having a diagnosis of intellectual disability, it it affects, it can affect anybody. There's some that they born, they're born with that disability. There are others that they acquire the disability through having an accident, like an auto accident. And what it does is it sort of limits how you process information. It limits how you understand certain things. It also affects your communication. A lot of the people with service, they they could be 20 years of age and communicating at the level of a 1 year old. That's
Oh,
that's how, yes, that's how it is. So most often you have to treat them as their age, but then you have to communicate sometimes with them at that level so that they can understand what you're saying.
oh,
So
I see.
that's,
Okay.
yes, that's what really intellectual disability means.
So every case
Mm,
is different. Some people would be at different levels
correct.
than other people.
Correct. Correct. Yes,
Yeah.
that's very right. You could have a case where you have twins that, both have a diagnosis of intellectual disability, but the way this diagnosis manifests itself, it's totally different. So that's why you have to handle it on an individual basis. So you treat and you support each person based on the specifics of how that diagnosis manifests itself.
Also on your bio, it says you're the founder and president of Oaks of Central Pennsylvania.
Correct. Yeah, Oaks of Central PA is a non-profit that empowers, advocates, and promotes African immigrants and refugees in the Greater Harrisburg area. So currently we're working on, I think it's 3 major projects. We have the New Moms Corner where we offer free diapers and free wipes to immigrant mothers. We also have the rental assistance that we help out with those that are either in the shelters and trying to transition into a more into an apartment. So we'll help them out there. And we also have the utility assistance. That's for those that have a short of notice and are needing some help.
How many African immigrants are coming to the United States in a year? Do you know?
I don't know the number, but it has been on an upward trend lately. I know for a fact when I relocated to this Harrisburg area, we weren't that many, we know each other. We weren't that many, but over the years, you have increasing number of immigrants or refugees that, relocate or move to the US and move to the area.
The refugees usually come from a country that is torn up in political war, civil war, something like that.
Yes, we do have a few that come from Rwanda. I know we had staff that was also that benefited from the refugee program. She and her entire family, and they moved in from Rwanda. So yes.
Is the normal process for the African immigrants to go through Europe first and then come to the United States? You laugh. I was serious. I didn't know.
No, but strangely enough, that's the path that a lot have followed. I just think maybe it's easier to go through that process. Like when I graduated from high school, it was easier to get a student visa to go to Germany as opposed to getting a student visa to come to the US.
Oh, okay.
So I spent 5 years in Germany as a student, then was lucky and blessed to win the DV lottery, and that's how I came to the US.
Oh, all right. No, because I've known somebody else who, as a matter of fact, they came from Cameroon as well.
Oh,
But they
okay.
went
Oh,
they went from Cameroon via Europe and then came to the United States. So I didn't know if that was like the normal route that African
no,
immigrants
it's not
took.
the normal, but I think it's the easiest.
It's the easiest.
I mean, a
okay.
lot of people might think that it's easy to come to the US to get a visa to come to the US. It's really one of the toughest visas to get. So especially if you're coming through like a student, the conditions are very tough. So most often it's easier to go to a European country as opposed to coming directly to the US.
Okay. Well, I've heard that's the visa to the United States is one of the most difficult ones
Yes,
to get.
It is.
How is
It is.
Canada? Is it easier to get to Canada?
I heard it was because they have a program there, if I'm not mistaken. They do have a program there that encourages immigrants. Like if you have, you have an education, you have a college degree and you have some experience, they have a lottery program there that enables highly skilled immigrants to move there through that program.
Okay. I suppose the only downside to Canada is the cold. If you can deal with the cold, it's all right.
That's true, though.
That's very true. Yeah, so aside from all of these other things that you've been doing, you've also got a book. Your book is called How I Discovered My Purpose. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
tell us a little about your book.
So, How I Discovered My Purpose, it's a part memoir, part inspirational book with a lot of scriptural passages that help the reader to build a foundation, and also a lot of practical examples from my life and the life of others, people that I have met in the course, over the past few years. So the book is for anybody that is at that point in their lives where they're asking themselves questions about why they are here on earth, what is their assignment, what is their purpose. And the book helps you to understand first that you're not alone There are a lot of people asking the same questions. There are a lot of people that have asked themselves the same questions and have been able to discover their purpose and gone ahead to fulfill that. So there are a lot of practical applications in the book to help the reader to put into action some of the recommendations and some of the examples and some of the biblical passages in the book.
Biblical passages. All right. Can you give us one? We have time for one.
We have we have time for one. Okay, the one I would think about is the story of Jesus he was on the waters and the disciples were in a boat. I don't quote me on the chapter of my book, but it's about stepping out of the comfort of the boat. So the disciples were in there and they were scared, but then one disciple said, "Lord, I want to come and meet you out of the boat." So Jesus said, "Come out." And that disciple came out of the boat and walked on the water towards Jesus. Then he started sinking because he was afraid when he saw the waves coming. So he started sinking and he cried out. He said, "Lord, help me." And Jesus reached out and helped him. That particular scriptural passage, I used it in that chapter to encourage everyone that's reading it that you can step out of the boat. The boat represents limitations. It represents your associations. It represents your environmental, financial, educational limitations. Sometimes it even represents your thoughts, negative thoughts telling you that you can't do something. So it's really an encouragement that you're able to step out of that boat and accomplish purpose. It will not be easy. The waves came and this disciple was frightened and he started sinking. So it's not going to be easy, but by faith, we know that Jesus is standing right there, ready to help us, ready to rescue us.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, super. We do have to wrap this up. Do you have a website that you want to give out? You probably got several with all your different projects, but
the best way is through Facebook. We are on Facebook, Discover Your Purpose. My personal Facebook account is Titih. If you want to order a copy of the book, spearsmedia.com. We also in Amazon. If you want to get in contact with me for interviews or any other projects, I'm more than willing. Again, it's Discover Your Purpose 2020 on Facebook or Christine Titih on Facebook too.
Okay, and that's spelled Titih, yeah?
Yes, Titih,
Okay.
yes.
Very good. Well, Christine, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
It was nice meeting
I
you.
appreciate it.